Good afternoon. Happy Tuesday. Yeah, that's what it is. Welcome to the Fox 5 Live Zone. I'm your host, Guy Lambert. Thank you so much for joining us. Hey, Power Pack Show coming up for you today. Following that breaking news out of Qatar, where minutes ago Israel attacked Hamas. We're going to check in with Harley Lipman, foreign policy expert, for the very latest. Back here in the nation's capital, we're talking about the federal surge. The countdown is on. Almost come to an end. We'll break it all down. And then we're talking Taylor and Travis Kelce. Yes, in this case, will their engagement spur more engagements? Matchmaking expert April Davis going to join us live in studio to break that down as well. All that and more coming up on the show. But first, how about we break down the weather? Look who's back. Tucker Barnes joining us right here on the Live Zone. Hey, my friend.
Good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
Yeah, it's been a beautiful stretch of weather. I noticed I wasn't here, and so I was enjoying it.
Oh, as you should. And that helped me out because I didn't have to fill your tip jar.
Yes, but that will be making a tour later this week. All right, I've been absolutely beautiful, Guy, and we'll keep the sunny stretch going and the pleasant temperatures again this afternoon. Very, very nice out there. I personally love this time of year because we go from hot and steamy to something just wonderful where it's warm every day and cool at night, and you know, you don't feel like you're melting when you go outside. There are your numbers at midday hour. It's upper 60s. We're at 68 at Reagan National. We had really cool numbers this morning. North and west, we were in the low 40s. So,
wow. Yeah,
really cool stuff for early September. Again, low humidity and generally a sunny afternoon. We are seeing a little bit of cloudiness out at the beaches. You see the out there where it says Ocean Pines, out towards Ocean City, some clouds. And if you look really carefully, and you have to just, you have to be into your weather to appreciate this, you see the clouds moving in different directions. Well, the winds are starting to shift out of the east, and some of that cloud cover will push across the bay into our region late this afternoon. Okay, so you may see an increase in clouds, but late today, early this evening. And then we're going to be in for, as a little weak area of low pressure passes to our east, we're going to be in for clouds Wednesday, with a couple of, I think with the winds coming off the ocean, we might have a couple of light sprinkles or showers around here tomorrow.
Okay, good to know.
Okay, nothing terrible. And then we'll go, we'll bounce right back into sunshine for the remainder of the week and absolutely beautiful weather. But I mean, it doesn't get better than that. Sunshine, mild, nice afternoon, 77. And once we get through the clouds tomorrow that we were just mentioning, we'll be right back into the 80s. Thursday, Friday, the weekend look fabulous. Outdoor plans this weekend. Yeah. Should be a good weekend for it. If you're lucky enough to get married this weekend, great weekend for it.
I don't know why you made mention of that, but okay, good to know.
Yeah, I mean, somebody is.
Okay.
Why not you?
That's where I figured you were going. Yeah. Tucker Barnes, and it's not me. All things weather right here on the Live Zone. Hey, guys, if you haven't already done so yet, make sure you download the Fox Local app and take that beautiful forecast with you on the go. All right, guys, we start the show off with developing news out of the Middle East, where explosions were heard in Doha after Israel carried out an attack against Hamas leadership. Now, a senior Hamas official has since confirmed that the group's negotiators were yet again targeted in Doha. The attack appears to be the first time Israel has launched an operation in Qatar. Joining us now to discuss this and so much more is Harley Lipman, foreign policy expert, back here on the Live Zone. Good to see you, Harley.
Good to see you as well, my friend.
All right. Well, this was an event of seismic proportions. This was not expected. Qatar has always been, in so many words, a neutral space. Officials there now calling the attack criminal, to say the least. Your response thus far?
Well, it's interesting. You described it as a neutral state. Well, it's only been neutral in that Israel has not been at war with Kuwait. So in that sense, you're quite right. But on another level, they fund Hamas. And like Iran, they have been extremely anti-Israel and paid no price for it. There's been no consequences for Qatar. So finally now, they're in a situation where now there's some level of accountability, and they're going to have to readjust their behavior because now they have a lot of exposure. So I think that's one big takeaway out of Israel's strike on the leadership of Hamas in Doha.
Yeah, several takeaways as well, Harley. We know that Israel immediately came out and took responsibility with regard to this attack. They did not do that in the past with regard to other attacks. We also know that they did inform the U.S. prior to the attack, but it raises some serious questions, Harley, and that is, do they really want to get this ceasefire deal done with Hamas?
Well, that's another good question. I suspect maybe not. But to me, the other takeaway here, which is really significant, is the complete mind shift of the Israeli government and military since October 7th. And that means before October 7th, Israel viewed the notion of deterrence as mowing the grass. Basically, they'd have to go in every once in a while, fire some rockets. When Hamas would fire rockets first, Israel would fire back until the next time. And that was all Israel did. And Israel has learned in a traumatic way that that has failed Israel, as Israel was in shock and unprepared when Hamas attacked them. So now their policy is when they see an enemy saying they're going to kill Israel and try to destroy Israel, they're not going to wait for that enemy to strike first. Israel's going to strike first. And I think that's what we're seeing now, an aggressive, proactive strategy of Israel to strike its enemies well before they could strike Israel.
You made mention of the word aggressive. That's what many are stating as well. We know that attack happened on a residential building. Now many pondering as to whether or not civilians happen to be killed. Should we expect more attacks, Harley, in your mind?
Yes, that's the implication. This is a game changer. And clearly the other takeaway or message is that Hamas is not safe anywhere. Israel has made a policy since October 7th that every Hamas leader or operative who was active in the October 7th attack is not safe. And they will take whatever time it takes to hunt down every one of them and take them out. And that's what they're going to do, and that's what they're doing.
We should expect the White House to have more on this at 1 o'clock during a White House press briefing, which we'll carry live right here on the Live Zone. Harley Lippman, foreign policy expert, yet again joining us on the LZ. Harley, always good to see you, my friend.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right, guys. Staying in the realm of politics, the House Oversight Committee released records from Jeffrey Epstein's estate, including a note bearing President Trump's name that was part of a birthday book of letters gifted to the late convicted sex offender. Meanwhile, Trump teased more federal action on crime in U.S. cities. Joining us now to discuss this and so much more is Mr. Arif Halaby, radio host and political strategist back here on the LZ. Good to see you, Arif.
Hi, Guy. How are you?
It's been a busy day, and it's going to be busy throughout the day. Let's start off with the discussion I just had with Mr. Lippman surrounding Israel attacking Hamas in Qatar. Your response to that, sir?
Well, remember the 1972 Munich Games. Israel spared no expense or time in finding the people that perpetrated that horrific crime. In fact, I believe it was over a decade later that they administered what they say is justice to one of the planners and those that completed the attack on the Israeli Olympic team. And going back even to the Holocaust, they went after those men and women for quite a long time. And so they did not give that up. That continued, and they did that for quite some time and probably will go through until all of these folks are brought to justice.
Yeah. Eric, as you heard me make mention, we do know that Israel did reach out to the White House prior to this. They were made aware. We also know that we are expecting a White House press briefing at 1 o'clock. Do you think they'll address this at all as well?
Yeah, I think they will. It's a difference between asking permission and asking forgiveness. I think the White House was given notice so that the large base in Qatar in the region, the military base, did not shoot down the Israeli planes. They have to, each plane has to give a little transponder, if you will. And they actually indicate, we are in town, we are here, we're going this way, don't shoot us down, we're this type of aircraft. And I think the military bases were made aware of that so that they wouldn't take action. Think of this also, Guy. I don't know if people understand that. There was as many as 6,000 people from Gaza that attacked those in Israel. That's the equivalent of a 2.1 million Americans going into Canada, committing atrocities, and then fleeing back into the United States and saying, listen, after 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 months, you should just call it even. I don't think Israel's going to do that this time.
All right, yet again, we'll continue to keep a close eye on that situation developing out in the Middle East. Closer to home, we know that the House Oversight Committee, which released records from Jeffrey Epstein's estate, including a note bearing President Trump's name, well, that was a part of a birthday book of letters gifted to the late convicted sex offender. Yet again, it appears as if President Trump just can't escape this whole Jeffrey Epstein case, if you will, Arif.
Yeah, the who's who, Guy, of New York and Washington politics and the elite of that time all knew Jeffrey Epstein. He was a fixer. He was somebody that would make things happen. He was somebody that would go around and tell folks what they wanted to hear, make deals happen. Nobody understood where his wealth came from even today. So I believe one of the signatures of President Trump is actually not really his. However, you see everybody wish him, I think it was his 50th birthday, happy birthday, and that came across. I believe there's a lot more to come. It's going to embarrass a lot of people and probably end a lot of relationships and unemployment as well.
Yeah. Eric, yesterday we were made aware that there happen to be several top officials, in this case lawmakers, that are asking for all of the files to be released. But it appears, though, they're not being backed by, let's say, their comrades.
Yeah, Guy, think about this. There's a reason why they're not releasing it. And the problem is, you and I will speculate forever. We used to think that it would harm the Democrat Party, so they wouldn't release it. Then we would think that now it's probably going to harm President Trump, so he's not going to release it. I think both sides have skeletons in this closet.
Yeah.
I don't know about President Trump as much, but certainly his friends, supporters, donors, and I even think some of those, of course, that are currently in political office across the board don't want to be, I think embarrassed is a light word, but the victims need justice and people need to be held account.
Yeah, guilty by association. We've all heard that term before. Eric, we'll end with this, and that happens to be there are reports of immigration operations ramping up in Chicago and Boston. The latest escalation, if you will, between the Trump administration and sanctuary cities. Now, those crackdowns are modeled after the June immigration sweeps in your neck of the woods. I'm making reference to Los Angeles, which the Supreme Court ruled yesterday can continue. Your response?
Yeah, all the sanctuary states and cities have to do is cooperate. In other words, when a criminal illegal alien goes through the jail system and is about to be released or is initially arrested, they're supposed to notify ICE. It's called an ICE detainer. We used to do that in a roundabout way when I was a police officer in Los Angeles, and we would do that through certain probation and parole agencies in the city and county. That was a way for us to still achieve what we needed to, which was to get bad guys off the street. When you don't cooperate, and you fled the system with criminal illegal aliens, and then they go back out into the community, where's ICE supposed to grab them from? Back in the community. And if you're illegal and you get caught up into that sweep at Home Depot or any other place, then you can thank your Democrat mayors and sanctuary cities across the country.
Speaking of a Democratic mayor, we know that D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser is counting down the minutes, if you will, to the end of the federal surge. She has stated that the relationship will continue, let's say, with the FBI, DEA, but to your point as to what you stated earlier, it will not continue with ICE. We know more than 200 illegal guns have been seized as a result of this federal surge. In your mind, Arif, was this a success?
I think so. The amount of men and women that were killed. And again, let's go back to this. They were mostly minorities. I mean, do you understand this? There are people's children that aren't dead today. It's hard to prove a negative. We understand that.
Yeah.
But there are men and women that are not victims, who haven't had their car broken into, who haven't been victims on the street, who didn't lose their life because of the president, his courage, and the ability to go after the bad guys on the streets. I think this needs to continue. It's hard. It puts the Democrats in a difficult spot. They're defending, we want more crime, we want less enforcement. It's a hard thing to defend.
Yeah, but that's what they call politics. Arif, folks that want to check out your show this upcoming weekend, how could they go about to do so?
Yeah, thank you for asking, Guy. It's on Sunday, 11 a.m. Pacific time on AM 870, The Answer. It's a 2-hour show. It's called The Total Financial Hour. We get into politics and money, even some of your emails.
Absolutely love it. Arif Halaby, yet again, radio host and political strategist, joining us on the Live Zone. We'll chat soon, sir.
Thank you, Guy. I appreciate it. Have a great week.
You bet. Well, in a world that often feels overwhelming, where silence can drown out many voices, September reminds us that we're not alone. You see, September is Suicide Awareness Month, a month in which we can shine the light on the importance of mental health, to break the stigma, if you will, and to foster understanding. Hence, enter my next guest. I'm making reference to Mr. Rick Brandelli. He's a retired Los Angeles County fire captain who served with distinction for some 38 years. I should also make mention he is passionate for mental health and wellness of our firefighters and first responders. Should I make mention that he has personally lost 3 firefighters? He joins us now right here on the Live Zone. Rick, good to see you, sir, and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Guy. Appreciate being here.
But of course, this is really an important topic. I'm thinking about so many of those who have lost their lives. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rick, but suicide, a permanent solution to a temporary problem, is it not?
Oh, definitely. I've seen it too many times with civilians we've been on, but to see my own friends take their lives, I'm floored. It's beyond me. That's what kind of stirred me to go this route, trying to help my fellow firefighters after retirement. That's the least I can do. I'm only here so many years on this earth. I might as well make the best out of it and help my fellow firefighters and first responders, by the way. It's not just firefighters.
Yeah.
Police see the same thing, ambulance attendants, all first responders see the worst of the worst at the worst times of people's lives. And it's I say Rolodex, it's like a slideshow in your carousel in your head. It's one memory after another memory after another memory. And, you get 30 years of this stuff built up. Some can cope, some can't. And the ones that can't, they need to, don't be afraid to reach out for help. Just don't. We're not Supermen. We know it. Some don't, not yet. The young ones don't. The ones that get older and see all this stuff, we deal with it different ways. Some turn to alcohol, some turn to drugs. Not many, but we all got to deal with it our own ways. After I came out with this brand, this coffee brand, Fireman's Brew, I had a couple of friends reach out to me because they saw some interviews I did, and they thanked me for bringing this to light, because nobody talks about it. Nobody does.
Yeah,
because
Rick,
we are, like I said, the Supermen.
And I'm glad you're
we
touching
handle
on that. That's exactly what I wanted to bring up. You are in a field where tough guys rule, if you will. You got to be a tough guy. I've seen it. And so with that being said, what are some of the things that we can get across to bring more awareness that, yeah, it's cool to be a tough guy, but when dealing with something like this, it's okay to ask for help?
Yes. And we just got to take down that tough guy facade, that costume. Take off the costume. We're just humans. Like you, Guy. You're human. I'm a human. We're all humans. We just try and do our best. It's what we got and what we, it's a career. It's a job. But we have to do it. Somebody has to go in and fix the problem. And that's what we do. And we enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. I love it. Saving someone's life is happiness beyond measure. I don't know any other way to say it other than that. But we see the worst, too, of what people can do to each other. And it just builds up over time. So just be aware. Awareness is the biggest thing right now for firefighters and first responders. Just realize it's not you. It's what you experience and those memories in your head. You can't press the delete button and get rid of them. They're there. Just got to know that they are there and just deal with it.
Rick, there's someone watching right now that perhaps knows of someone that happens to be in this position. The question is, how do you approach that person? How do you spark a conversation to let that person, one, know that you're concerned, and two, perhaps yet again, he or she should seek help?
A great first start is just talk to them. Hear their stories. Nice thing about retirement, we do have our monthly breakfast meetings of old retired guys. We call them war stories. It's our venting. It's basically therapy in a way. So just talk to them, speak to them, ask them about their issues, but be careful when you ask them about their calls. It could give you nightmares too, which did for when I was a young fireman. I used to tell her everything I saw and did until she said, for the last 2 weeks, I've been having nightmares about that incident you told me about. I won't say the incident because it might be disturbing. But that's when I realized, I don't need to bring this home to family. I just deal with it on my own and with the firefighters at the station, and that's where it stops. So we do see a lot of bad things, and it will give people nightmares if they're not ready for it. So talking to other first responders is great help.
Yeah.
But just talk to them. Reach out if you see they're having a little down day. Just talk to them. Just talk. Don't keep it to yourself, and don't think it's going to blow away and be okay. Just be human.
Yeah. Rick, we'll end with this, and that is with regard to society overall. What is it that you hope we do to continue to bring more awareness surrounding mental health and suicide prevention?
Just make it. Don't stigmatize it so much, for especially us, because just realize we see so much every day, day in, day out, year in, year out. Just give us some grace a little bit. Not a free pass, but just realize we've seen a lot of bad things, and that's why little grandkids will think Grandpa's such a worrywart about putting on your life jackets, going on a boat, or everything's super safe, because we've seen the worst of how things can go bad. So
Well
awareness,
said.
awareness, awareness, awareness. Especially the fire chiefs you're watching out there. Just know there are programs that are finally being developed in the fire service. LA County, Los Angeles County, Local 1014 has set up a nice peer support program, and they'll come out and teach you if you ask. Just reach out.
Yeah.
It's a good start.
Rick, folks that want to find out more about the coffee, yet again entitled the Fireman's Brew Coffee, how would one go about to do so?
Well, we're on, every bag sold goes back to firefighters, or a portion of it anyway. We still got to keep our lights on. But you can find us at Amazon or firemansbrew.com.
Easy as 1, 2, 3. Yet again, Rick Brandelli. He is a retired Los Angeles County fire captain and all about bringing more awareness to suicide prevention. Sir, truly thank you for your service and thank you for your time as well.
Thank you, Guy. Have a great day.
You bet. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break. Hey, on the flip side of that break, let's lighten things up a bit, shall we? In this case, we're talking Travis and Taylor, and will their engagement spur more? Celebrity matchmaker April Davis joins us in studio next, right here on the Live Zone. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. Well, by now you've probably heard the major news. This is the news that everybody in the world happens to be talking about. Yes, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, oh my gosh, they're going to walk down the aisle and jump over the broom. Now, with that being said, the question is, will it spark a wedding boom? And what trends will we see from her wedding? And will they be a good match for life? Well, I'm not a guy that can tell all of that, but I can tell you she can. I'm referring to celebrity matchmaker and founder of Luma Luxury Matchmaking, April Davis, joining us right here on the Live Zone. Good to see you and welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
I've seen you, I guess, through this camera that we're both looking at, but to actually have you in studio is truly a pleasure and truly an honor.
Yeah, likewise. This is neat. This is something different in real life, right?
Well, let's have some fun with it. First of all, we were live on air when we got the news that Travis had actually proposed to Taylor Swift. And I got to tell you, I think we were covering the president at the time, and we broke from that, which we typically don't do, to go to that.
Well, it's obviously much more important than anything else.
This is a big deal, and it really has the world talking. And I'm curious, you heard me make mention, will it really spark a wedding boom? And before you even answer that, I would venture to say yes.
Well, they're kind of like our society's royalty in a way, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know so much about a wedding boom, like that people are going to all of a sudden decide to get married just because Taylor Swift is. I think it might, yeah, might bring some more energy to it. So people are like looking for the one to get married instead of messing around and just dating forever. I think more so the trends are going to be around the ring. Because that's always what we see. Like, remember when Ben Affleck and J-Lo got engaged the first time? The first time?
Yeah.
Because that was like, that was such a big deal with that ring. And then same thing with the prince and princess and, you know, in the UK. I think there's a lot more attention around the ring. So I've heard a ton about her ring, Taylor Swift ring, already.
Yeah.
And I think just that industry in general has changed so much in recent years because of the advent of the lab-created rings, and hers is a mined ring that is actually there. It was designed, it was created, I think, like hundreds of years ago.
Oh, wow.
So it's an antique cut. It's very unique. So I think there's going to be more of that kind of influence that's going to change everything. Same thing with like their setting, with their picture and everything. So there's things like that. Her dress is going to be the next big trend, I think. Whatever dress she decides to walk down the aisle with.
We've also now been informed that their ceremony will be somewhat private, meaning we will not be able to feast our eyes on the ceremony as it takes place, at least as it unfolds right before not our eyes. And so with that being said, I'm curious, to do that, does it say to you that they want to keep it private because they want to celebrate their love together and for their family and friends? Meaning their lives are really lived in front of the world, and for that special moment, they just want to make sure that it's just for the both of them.
Yeah, I imagine too that their engagement actually occurred somewhere else, I would guess, because it was, I mean, you want to surprise her. I would think he would actually have surprised her, and I mean, just to be in that spot with the dress and the video and pictures and everything. I'm guessing that, I mean, I would be surprised if that was the real legit one, or if that was just the photo shoot one for the world to see. So I would guess that they are doing everything in private, because you know, at the end of the day, they do have a very curated feed that they're letting people in on what they want to see, what they want people to see. So yeah, I don't blame them either for wanting to keep that confidential.
Full disclosure, I have staged an event or two myself, so I think we all have at some point, so nothing wrong with that.
Makes sense.
I guess the other big question is, they are such powerful people within this world, and so the question is it going to work out because you're bringing two powerhouses together, which, well, quite honestly, we've seen in the past, it could be a train wreck at times.
Yeah, I talk to people all the time about this, and that, you know, having two alpha types can be really challenging, but I feel like they balance each other well, because he's, you know, alpha male, but he is not afraid to support his woman and let her be shining in the spotlight. He, you know, is always there at her concerts and doing what he can to support her and let her do her thing, you know. And I think that is a great display of how to be like a truly confident man and truly supportive of your woman at the same time. And then also she feels safe enough with him, and that he's, you know, a strong enough of a male where she can let her guard down and she can be the woman in the relationship. So yeah, I think that, you know, I'm definitely rooting for them, but it's very difficult to have two alpha types. And maybe it is, I mean, I don't know, you could beg to the question, is she truly like an alpha type, or is she beta? But I don't know, it's just rare to see when you have two celebrity superstars that have a long-term, like, lasting relationship. I can't really think of any that have like worked out long term anyway. So.
By the way, I should make mention, your business, the Luma Luxury Matchmaking, you have been successful with putting over 1,000 couples together, if you will, and making sure it really works out. When I saw that number, I had to do a double take. Wow, it really works.
Yeah, we work with people from all over the world to help them define their person for a long-term committed relationship. You know, these are people that are busy professionals, executives. You know, they don't have time to deal with apps, and they are picky. They know what they want. So yeah, we work with them and we find their person and put them together.
All right. Well, speaking of putting together, let's talk about Taylor and Travis yet again, because I've been waiting to ask this question. Now, it's no secret, Taylor Swift, she's a billionaire. Travis Kelce, okay, he's worth a couple of million. In full retrospect, 1 million seconds, 11 days, 1 billion seconds, over 30 years. We see the difference here, right?
Right.
Is that going to be a problem, do you think?
Well, I think there's always going to be some kind of things that they need to work through, but it's just like anything in any kind of relationship. You have to talk through it, be very clear about your boundaries, what you want, and just communicate through it. I'm sure they'll have some sort of prenup in order to make
so.
make that. But I mean, I think it's important to have that conversation up front.
Sure.
And I actually am a proponent of prenups because I think that it's more important for the couple to decide ahead of time what they want to happen in case things do go south,
Sure.
versus allowing the courts to decide down the road.
Yeah.
So either you decide or you allow a judge to decide.
It's always cheaper to get married. It's more expensive to get divorced.
Yes.
As, so many folks have now found out.
Yes.
Well, then with this, and that is, we know that Taylor, it's no secret, she's kissed a number of frogs throughout her lifetime, but she finally found the one. And so that, I would suspect, is so encouraging to so many other women that are saying, you know what, I can't find the right guy. Well, Taylor Swift did, so perhaps you can as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's someone out there for everyone.
All right, absolutely love it. We can't wait to see what happens with Taylor Swift and Travis. We're going to be optimistic. It's going to work out in the long run.
Yes,
and,
yes.
and of course, if folks want to find out more information about you, how would they go about to do so?
They can just go to our website at lumasearch.com. It's LUMA search.com and fill out the profile form.
Absolutely love it. I think you're going to love it too. Give it a try. Yet again, we have been speaking with April Davis. She is the celebrity matchmaker and founder of Luma Luxury, and kind enough to join us right here on the Live Zone. We'll take a quick break, guys. We'll be right back.
Thanks.
All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. Well, hidden in the shadows, a tiny insect, yes, an insect, holds a significant secret, one that affects millions around the world. You see, this is the story of the kissing bug and the disease it spreads. You see, the kissing bug is more than just an unwelcome guest. You see it right there on your TV screen. It's a carrier of a potentially life-threatening illness that often goes unnoticed. Now, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the kissing bug disease is now considered an endemic illness right here in the U.S. Joining us to discuss this and so much more is Dr. Michael Skoma. Dr. Skoma, good to see you, sir, and welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me. I think this is a very important topic for people to know about, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, but of course, I'm going to ask the question that I'm sure a lot of my viewers are probably asking themselves. What in the heck is a kissing bug, and what disease are we making reference to, sir?
So the kissing bug is it was an endemic. Basically, it's a bug that basically it's a sandfly that essentially is responsible for the spread of this parasite called Trypanosoma cruzi. And when it affects someone, it basically starts off with more of an acute type infection in terms of fever. Facial swelling above the eye is very common and things of that nature. The problem is that if it is undiagnosed and undetected and leads to what we call chronicity, meaning it's untreated and it becomes a more long-term infection, that's where you are dealing with potentially life-threatening issues.
Yeah. Dr. Skoma, I truly enjoy the outdoors. I took a hike the other day and really enjoyed it. And I got to be honest with you, I was not familiar with the kissing bug. Is this something new? Is it new to this territory, new to this area? How did it get here, and why have I not heard about it before?
So it's been around. There's roughly 300,000 cases in the United States annually. It originates in Latin America. However, in the last number of weeks, there's been a significant spread, probably due to climate changes and things of that nature, where, as you had mentioned, it's become more endemic to these areas. Essentially, it has been around for quite some time. However, the incidences are increasing in the United States, particularly in Canada, Arizona. Texas is a hotspot, Louisiana, Missouri, Mississippi, and Arkansas in particular.
Yeah, yet again, truly troubling. And I'm nearly at a loss for words because I was not privy to all of this. But thankfully, because of you, we now have a better understanding of what to look out for. Now that we know that we're dealing with something like this, the next question has to be, how in the heck do we combat it?
So the idea, first off, is with anything is diagnosis. And sometimes that could be a bit of an issue because when you initially get sick with it, it's very kind of nonspecific. Fever, swollen lymph nodes, headache, which is very common with many other types of infections, particularly around the summer, particularly when you have tick-borne infections predominant infections like that. The issue is really basically if you do suspect this, you've really got to seek out a professional, namely an infectious disease doctor. They can diagnose it through serology, meaning they check your blood and they're looking for antibodies against it. And when it is diagnosed, that's when you have to implement treatment. So it is treatable. However, obviously you can get the best results when treated early. And it is an antiparasitic medication. There's a couple of them, but they have to be actually acquired directly from the CDC. So this is not something that you're obtaining from your local or big box pharmacy. This is specifically from the CDC.
Yeah. One of the things, as my producer Amy put up the B-roll earlier, you got a chance to see how big this bug is. It's about the size of a penny. And so with that being said, I'm curious, is there a certain type of bites we should look for? For example, I know what a mosquito bite looks like. I know how it begins to swell, how it's inflamed, if you will. Is there something in particular I should look for with regard to the kissing bug?
Not really specifically with respect to these bites. They're very non-specific, and that's the issue. The real thing to look for is what is very unique to the initial stage of infection with this microbe is there's this one-sided swelling that almost always occurs over the eye. And that's something to really kind of look for because it's very unique to any other basic kind of bite that you can get. It's not going to appear, there's really nothing specific in terms of the bite appearance. It doesn't leave a specific rash or a sequelae like a bullseye, for example, when some people get sustained tick-borne infections. So there's nothing specific to the bite, but it's really more to look for getting it in these hot spots, coming down with some flu-like fever-type illness, muscle aches, and things of that nature, obtaining or developing this kind of swelling over the eye, which is very unique to this infection, and then seeking out a specialist to do serologies in hopes of a diagnosis and a quick treatment. Because again, if it's not treated, that's where this is something that can be potentially deadly.
Yet again, vital information from Dr. Michael Skoma. Folks that want to find out more information, sir, how would one go about to do so?
The best would be to go to the CDC website in terms of the epidemiology section, in terms of looking at what are the more potent, hotspots in terms of what I had laid out.
Sure.
And otherwise, I would basically stress that if there is any sort of concern for sustaining this, it's imperative to immediately seek out attention from an appointment with an infectious disease specialist, as they're best equipped to deal with these.
Well said. Dr. Skoma, truly appreciate your time, sir. Thank you so much for coming on the Live Zone and
Thank you
bringing
for
more
having me.
awareness to this. Thank you so very much.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. All right, folks, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. Obviously, a busy day throughout the world. Earlier today, as you heard us make mention, we were following the developing story out of Doha, where explosions were heard after Israel carried out an attack against Hamas leadership. The UN, well, now holding a press conference, if you will, surrounding all things throughout that region. Let's go ahead and take a look in.
Said in the past is that we will continue as much as we can to stay and deliver humanitarian aid.
Okay, on the attack in Doha, today it's been reported that one of the target is actually the chief negotiator from Hamas. Does that mean that this negotiation of a peace deal has been terminated? The Israeli part.
Well, I mean, I think you have to ask that question to the parties in the negotiations.
And one last thing, I'm sorry. It's also been reported that before this operation, Israel told the White House about this operation, and obviously they did not stop Israel to do this, even though Israel said it's their it's their own operation. In this case, what's the response from the Secretary General to the United States?
We're not going to comment on press reports. Obviously, I think there'll be a briefing.
No, it's actually been confirmed by both Israeli and White House. It's not really a report.
We will wait for any official reaction. Abdelhamid.
Thank you. There was another attack on a sovereign state, which is Tunisia. A flotilla was attacked by a drone. Are you aware of that? And what do you say to that?
I'm aware of the reports. I think there were, from what I read this morning, there was contradictory information. The last I read, the Tunisian government said there had been no attack. So we have no clarity on what is going on.
My second question, Stefan, if there is one terrorist in a building.
All right, guys, obviously we'll keep a close eye on that. A very busy day throughout the world, yet again following the attack by Israel on Hamas in Qatar. That's a UN press conference that's currently underway. We still are awaiting the White House briefing, which will begin shortly after 1 p.m. We'll take you there live on the Live Zone when that happens. Well, did you hear? The Foundation for Women's Cancer set to kick off its 2025 race to end women's cancer right here in the nation's capital. It takes place this upcoming Sunday, September the 14th at Freedom Plaza. We all know that well. This year's race will bring together survivors, caregivers, healthcare professionals, and advocates from across the country to raise awareness of the gynecologic cancers and funds for life-saving research and education. Joining us now to tell us all about that and so much more is Dr. Ginger Gardner, FWC co-chair, Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, and she joins us right here on the Live Zone. Ma'am, truly a pleasure to see you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. This is a really exciting month. September is Gynecologic Cancer Awareness Month, and I couldn't be more proud to come out and shake the trees on behalf of all women and all patients that face the challenges of gynecologic and other women's cancers.
Well, let's shake them in a major way. In this case, folks that really want to have a better understanding as to what this surrounds. I'm hoping you can elaborate, ma'am.
Absolutely. So there are 5 gynecologic cancers: ovarian, cervical, vaginal, vulvar, gynecologic rare cancers. Every 5 minutes in this country, another patient is diagnosed with one of the 5 gynecologic cancers. So it's really important that we talk about these things. Pap smears don't screen for all women's cancers. And so understanding that there are other areas of women's health and areas that we can all on board with to work towards disease prevention and cure.
Yeah, I've heard that term, early detection, early prevention. In this case, we'll focus on the detection portion. That is so key, is it not?
Well, as they say, the best treatment, disease prevention. So we're really out to raise awareness this Sunday on Freedom Plaza in Washington, D.C. Everyone is welcome to come and join the rally, 1 mile walk, 5K run. And so what we're out to do together is to increase the awareness, increase research funding, increase education about all women's cancers. So the different diseases work different ways, but we can all raise awareness together to get out and prevent these diseases before they even start. More than a pap smear, and there's so much opportunity to learn more and come join the movement together.
Yeah, I am really excited about this because, to your point, it brings more awareness, but it's also a lot of fun, and it's healthy as well. I personally, I had one too many brownies yesterday, so I need to make sure I show up in a major way and walk it all off. With that being said, I'm hoping you can describe what folks will see upon arrival. What are they going to be surrounded by? What will they hear this upcoming Sunday?
Absolutely. Thank you. So at 8:45 is our kickoff program. So it's going to be inspiring moments for women in our lives. It's going to be poignant testimonials to the research that's happening and the need to do more. It's going to be an incredible kickoff for the 1 mile walk or 5K professional timed run. And it's going to be a celebration of all of us together, fun music, energy, and excitement, because when we hit the ground together, we truly make a difference together. So I just hope that we can be out in spades for this Sunday, 8:45 a.m. on Freedom Plaza. Let's do this. Let's raise awareness for all women's health, for all women's cancers, and especially those 5 gynecologic cancers. A little under the belt. Sometimes we haven't seen or heard about these structures, but there are ways, there's information to help onboard all of us to prevent these diseases and to access and enable the best treatments of our future.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited. I can tell you're excited as well. And that's a good thing. And we'll end with this. Obviously, the focus is on that because, well, we're really bringing more awareness during this month. But yet again, this is something we really need to talk about every day.
That's right. Saturday, there's actually a free program called the Patient Education Forum. That's also available at the Foundation for Women's Cancer website. And that is a free program. All are welcome. We're talking about nutrition. We're talking about sexual health. We're talking about disease prevention maneuvers. We're talking about how the newest treatments that are coming online. It was always said that ovarian cancer is the silent killer. That is not so much wealth of information that we have and so much more that we need to do. So come join us at the Hotel Washington on Saturday for the free patient education forum. And let's get out there in droves on Freedom Plaza and a walk down that Pennsylvania Avenue, or a 5K run for those that want to, on Sunday morning, 8:45 kickoff of the pre-walk, pre-run program. It's going to be spectacular, and we just so need to do this work together.
I could have put it any better. Yet again, we've been joined by Dr. Ginger Gardner, FWC co-chair, Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, who joined us right here on the Live Zone. Truly appreciate your time. Looking forward to the event.
Thank you so much. Looking forward to it also.
You bet. All right, folks, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. Well, it's no secret, in a world increasingly aware of climate change, the call for eco-friendliness has never been louder. You hear it right now? But what happens when our actions don't align with our beliefs? Many of us strive to live sustainably, preach the importance of protecting our planet, but, well, then there are those that talk the talk but don't necessarily walk the walk. Perhaps that's the case with Leonardo DiCaprio, being one of the most outspoken Hollywood voices on climate change. However, just recently he was seen vacationing on the very environmentally unfriendly mega yacht of Jeff Bezos. Joining us now to discuss this and so much more is Mr. Jim Beach, longtime entrepreneur, award-winning speaker, nationally syndicated radio host, and, oh, by the way, happens to be the author of The Real Environmentalists, How Wayne Elliott and Other Capitalists Will Save the World. He joins us right now on the Live Zone. Good to see you, Jim, and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
I got to tell you, I'm excited to have you. I don't think a lot of folks that happen to be a fan of Leonardo DiCaprio are happy, I'll tell you that. So what are we dealing with here? As you heard me make mention, he's talking the talk, but not necessarily walking the walk. Would you agree?
Unfortunately, I would 100% agree. I have just finished a ChatGPT study of the 10 biggest environmental hypocrites in the United States. We have some politicians, some of our academics, some of our favorite celebrities, and unfortunately, the things that they are doing are quite ridiculous. You mentioned Jeff Bezos' super yacht. Well, you have to think about the other yacht. His super yacht has a super yacht to support it for all of his extra toys, the submarines and the helicopters. So it's not just one super yacht, it's two super yachts. I discovered that a super yacht produces the same amount of carbon waste, bad things, as 600,000 houses for a year.
Wow.
So think about that. If you're out there partying on the super yacht, you're doing the same damage as 600,000 people. And that requires an extreme amount of self-importance to think that that's, I deserve this. I deserve to have as much pollution as 600,000. And unfortunately, it's those same celebrities that are preaching to us and telling us we need to do more, conserve more, drive slower, all of these things. Came up with the top 10 hypocrites, and unfortunately, Leonardo made our list. Quite
Really?
high on the list, actually.
Oh, wow. Are you able to share your list, or at least the top 5?
Yes. Well, we have, I'll have to do it from memory. Bezos was up there. Prince William and Meghan Markle are high up there. Unfortunately and shockingly, Elon Musk is in the top 5 as well, because we love to think of him as a great environmentalist, but when you look at it with balanced eyes, you find that he's actually not. SpaceX is doing some pretty destructive things down in Texas. And so the final of the top 5 would be, let me think for a half second. Oh, how could I forget? Al Gore, our favorite politician who invented the internet. So
wow,
that rounds out the top 5. We discovered some amazing things. The Kardashians, who did not make the list, spend over $100,000 a month paying a water fine for the excessive amount of water that they use at their house in California. $100,000 a month is the fine. So imagine how much water they're using, and then they're telling us that we need to cut back.
All
There's
right,
a lot
Jim.
of hypocrisy out there. But can I share the good part of the story?
Please do.
I have found 260 for-profit American companies that are out there solving environmental problems today. There is a company solving every environmental problem that you've heard of, and they're making tremendous progress and having huge success. And so I have quit, and this is a bold statement, I've quit worrying about environmental change, because you show me a problem and I'll introduce you to the woman solving that problem right now. And so slowly and surely, we are cleaning up the mess. I'm not denying climate change. I'm not fighting with who caused it. I think man had a huge impact on it. But the good news is that we can also have a huge impact in cleaning it up and making the world a better, cleaner environment for all of us. It's a very positive message, I think.
Yeah, absolutely love that. Jim, we're going to have to leave it there, but folks that want to find out more information about the book, do tell, sir.
RealEnvironmentalist.com, or just go to Amazon and make a purchase. We'd love to have your support. Thank you so much.
Absolutely love it. Jim, truly appreciate you joining us right here
Thank you.
on the Live Zone. You're welcome, my friend. Well, with D.C. at the center of the political unrest and generational change, young black professionals are not, and let me repeat, are not on the sidelines. Talking about the Thursday Network. You see, they've been leading organization in really driving impact. I should make mention that the Thursday Network has supported the programs of the Greater Washington Urban League by serving the diverse needs of Washington, D.C., Montgomery County, Prince George's County. Their mission, real simple, to provide a forum for young professionals to support the mission of the Greater Washington Urban League and focus on energies on community service. Joining us now to discuss this and so much more is Mr. John Houston, president of the Thursday Network, and Angeline Jefferson, vice president and, oh, by the way, president-elect, both of which kind to join us right here on the LZ. Welcome, guys. Truly appreciate you being patient.
Hey, thanks for having us, Guy. We
Yeah.
appreciate it.
I got to tell you, we've been trying to do this for quite some time. You know, full disclosure here. And we have been bumped and bumped again by press conference after press conference. I'm glad that actually happened. Why? Because we are less than 24 hours away from the end, if you will, of the so-called federal surge right here in the nation's capital. It's a big deal, obviously. D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser stating that the relationships with most of the, let's say, national agencies, if you will, or federal agencies will continue, minus ICE. That's one thing. The other is that whether that's the case or not, you all have been there day in and day out since day one.
We have, yes. So our members have been boots on the ground since day one, like you mentioned. We've been working with organizations such as Free DC, making sure that the voices of young folks and the DC communities represented whenever issues like this pop up. And that's part of our mission. We're making sure that we elevate 21 to 40-year-olds. Their voices are heard. They're at the table. They're making decisions. They're the change agents, and they're at the front lines of this fight.
Yeah, and you do it all so well. Ms. Jefferson, did I pronounce your name correctly?
It's Angeline.
Okay, I stand corrected. We got to make sure we get it right on the Live Zone. In this case,
Thank
you all, as you heard me make mention, have been doing things for the last 10 months. Oh, excuse me, even before that, but 10 months, let's highlight some of the amazing things, including 300 plus volunteers for the 25th annual MLK Day of Service. Oh, but wait, there's more. You packed more than 2,000 toiletry kits, 2,000 blankets. The bottom line, what I'm getting at, is that when it comes to giving back, I really can't think of anyone who does it better.
Yeah. I think what makes Thursday Network so unique and so impactful is that the folks who join our organization are really, really seeking that community and civic engagement involvement. And it really shows, right? So annually, we give $10,000 worth of scholarships to 11 students via our I Empower scholarship. This year, we collected 871 books for our For Us, By Us book drive so that young people in the region that we serve can see themselves in the books that they're reading. And that was a record-setting number for us. During our National Day of Empowerment, we reached almost 2,000 folks through civic engagement campaigns. So really the work that we do is just so impactful, and it's motivated and driven by our membership.
Yeah, speaking of the membership, that's one of the things I love most about this is that you're saying, you know what, we welcome you with open arms. And so with that, what does one need to do to actually take part?
Well, become a member is very simple. Come to some of our committee meetings. We meet monthly. You can come to our general body meetings, which is the fourth Thursday of every month at 7 p.m. But one thing I want to say that's unique about Thursday Network compared to other professional organizations such as NABJ, which serves journalists, or an MBA program that's just for MBA people, we bring everyone together. We don't have a cutoff. You don't have to have some type of professional requirement. We welcome everyone. We want to bring everyone into the room together. That way, we get a mix of ideas and we build that real community base where people are sharing together.
Yeah.
But you can also find us ThursdayNetwork.org. We have all our information there as well. And follow us on Instagram at Thursday Network.
Yeah. Yet again, we've all heard that term that the streets have been talking, and they have been talking so much about the Thursday Network, specifically, John, what you have been able to do as the president. But as you pass the baton on now to Angeline, I got to ask, is there anything in specific that we should look for, we should expect sometime in the near future, Angeline?
Yeah, well, just to culminate this most recent term, and again, to celebrate kind of all the successes and partnerships that we have our 10th annual Spirit of Service on September 18th, that Thursday evening. So all those details can be found on our website as well. So if you want to join us to celebrate all the excellent work that we've done in this term and kind of launch us into our next, we'd love to have folks join us. But as John said, and as you mentioned too, what we're really excited about is making sure that Thursday Network's voice is heard as we move through this kind of cultural, political shift, and that the folks in this region who are the most and honestly quickest impacted have their voice heard, especially at this youth level.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll have to leave it there. I truly appreciate what you all do. I'm serious about that. You all give back in such a major way, and it's so needed. John, we'll end with you, and that is folks that want to find out more information, or they really want to join. That should be the thing. How could folks go about to do so?
Well, again, if folks want to join Thursday Network, they can find us at ThursdayNetwork.org. They can find us on Instagram at Thursday Network. And we're always looking for donations. We're looking for folks to join us. Again, ThursdayNetwork.org/join us, ThursdayNetwork.org/donate, and ThursdayNetwork.org/calendar. That way you can find out any upcoming events that we have.
Absolutely love it. Mr. John Houston, president of Thursday Network, and Angeline Jefferson. I got the name right?
You did.
High five going out to me, Vice President and President-elect, joining us right here on the Live Zone. I appreciate you guys.
All right. Thank you, Guy.
You bet.
Bye.
All right, guys. It is now 3 minutes past the top of the hour. Yet again, we are awaiting a White House press briefing. That should get underway momentarily. When that happens, you know the deal. We're going to take you there live right here on the Live Zone. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Whether or not that ultimately happens remains to be seen. But this has obviously been an issue for the White House that has not gone away despite their best efforts. So obviously we're to see what is said about that at this briefing. Also the new job reports from the BLS that came out today is going to be a key topic for this White House as that is
Yeah, that was just for your shot. Yeah, I can take it.
All right, guys, just like that, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. It is now 5 minutes. Yes, 5 minutes past the top of the hour. Yet again, we still are awaiting a White House press briefing. We'll take you there when that happens. In the meantime, let's have some fun, shall we? Joining us on a Tuesday, as he does each and every Tuesday. Hey, looky who's back. Media Prince, the one and only, right here on the Live Zone for a little celebrity dish. What's up, my friend?
How's it going, my friend? We are live in the zone.
Media Prince, I owe you an apology. We were chit-chatting on Lion Lunch Hour about some of the folks that happened to be joining me, and I said, oh, I can't wait for Celebrity Prince. I'm like, hey, that doesn't sound right. Oh, yeah, it's the Media Prince, but I would say you're a celebrity as well.
Maybe you're throwing a new name out there. You know, maybe some new branding coming my way.
Well, if that's the case, cut me the check. Let's talk about Mariah Carey, shall we? In this case, fans are voicing concerns after the singer seemed somewhat off during the VMAs Sunday night. Media Prince. Now, Mariah performed a medley of her hits before receiving the Video Vanguard Award. Now, she stood still most of the time, but when she walked across the stage, well, let's just say fans say she seemed unsteady on her feet, and many are asking, hey, Mariah Carey, are you okay? What say you, Media Prince?
What I say is, come on, lambs. You know when you see Mariah perform, she is going to give you every bit of nothing. She's not going to move. She's not going to sashay. She's going to need those guys to guide her across the stage. She is going to stand still like standing still has never been done before, okay? I think she was A-okay. I actually liked the performance. I think she sounded good. She looked immaculate. And I'm just used to it. I already know when I see Mariah Carey perform or when I pay to see Mariah Carey perform, I know I am paying, or as a concert goer, I am viewing the excitement for me to be the one performing and dancing. Mariah Carey said, I've done enough in my years. I'm just going to frolic across this stage. I may not even walk. I may just stay still right here in this one position, and you better like it and love it. It's Mariah Carey, for crying out loud. I think she was great. I think the fans are just going way too deep into it, because if you're a real Mariah Carey fan, then you know for a fact that she is going to give you absolutely nothing on stage, and that's just what it is.
Yeah, I watched it, and then I watched it again. I talked about this on Good Day DC earlier today, and that is she seems somewhat lethargic. However, I don't necessarily think anything is wrong. She hit every note. If you go back and take a look at it, I mean, it was actually a pretty good performance. But to your point, she is a diva, and divas don't sashay, if you will, across the stage. They just glide.
Just glad. She's going to, I told you, she is the definition of giving you exactly what? Nothing. She's going to just stand there, and you better do, like what Beyonce say, you are the visuals, baby. You guys are the dancers. You guys are the performers. I'll just be up here staring at you, staring at me, staring at you.
I got to use that. Make sure I coin it coming from you. Hey, let's move on to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Looking at a lot of not food items, shall I say. Why? Because this guy's lost a lot of weight. Yeah, he's looking lean these days. In a recent interview, the actor revealed he lost weight for his forthcoming role in Lizard Music. Now, Johnson says his new diet is made up of chicken. Speculation about Johnson's weight loss began after he was spotted looking thinner in Italy at the Venice Film Festival late last week. It looks like he lost a lot of weight there, Media Prince.
Yeah, but you know, The Rock he's a method actor, and he really gets into his role. So when I did see the weight loss, immediately I thought, oh, he must have a movie role, because, you know, and I also don't judge anymore based on what we saw with Chadwick Boseman and the weight loss. You never know what they're going through or what's happening. But for him, he didn't look too out of the ordinary small. So I just figured maybe he has a movie role that's just not calling for all of those biceps. But I will say that The Rock has extremely great muscle mass. So I'm pretty sure once this movie is over, he will be right back in the gym, back to what he does, because he has a routine. I do know this from some insiders. He has a routine. He knows what to eat, how to eat, when to work out, I mean, this is The Rock, the professional wrestler, for crying out loud. He knows what to do. So I
Yeah.
think we are just in for a treat for a new movie role. And I must commend, he is a dynamic actor. Like, who would have thought like that the wrestler that I've seen who could asking me, can I smell what he was cooking, is actually cooking up some good dishes in the acting world. So bravo to him steadily working, because my brother keeps it bad.
Yeah, it's a testament to your point yet again of what he's doing, his commitment, if you will, to acting. And then I'm thinking of the other actor that played, Christian Bale, that played Batman. There happened to be a role to which he also lost a ton of weight. Not necessarily the healthiest thing to do, but hey, I mean, they're saying this happens to be our job, and we want to make sure that we could live up on camera to the role that we were hired to play. So high five going out to him.
And actors do it all the time. We saw Beyonce do it with Dreamgirls. She had to get really thin for the Dina Jones role. So it's not nothing out of the ordinary. I just think we as the fans sometimes aren't. You guys need to just pay attention to Live Zone more so you could get caught up so that you can know what these actors are doing, because you're just guessing what they're doing. But we're telling you, he's doing a movie role and he is A-okay.
All right, well, there's one thing we're not guessing, and that is as to whether or not Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are getting married. They're going to do it. It's going to happen. And soon. In this case, we now know that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are not going to make it public, if you will. According to People magazine, the couple plan on keeping their wedding private. Taylor and Travis announced their engagement on IG back on August 26th. After, count them, not 1 but 2 years of dating, the pair shared sweet photos from their proposal with the caption, "Your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married." You liking that, Media Prince, that they're going to keep it private?
No, as a Swiftie, I think I speak for us all. Don't give us all this crap in public and then give us the ceremony in private. Like, you didn't gave us these photo shoots. We see you on podcasts. You guys go on Instagram with the proposal. I want to see the wedding as well. And how about this? I'm getting even greedy. I want your wedding live stream, okay? Me and the Swifties, we're not asking, we're telling you. We want it live stream. We want it public, and public. Or let's just say this, TMZ, I need you to somehow get in the bushes or somewhere in the trees or somewhere under the seats, because we need to see footage live and in color. And I know you can get us 4K footage. So that's just my tip out there, because we're going to see this wedding, okay?
Well, unfortunately, Media Prince, it probably will take place after the wedding occurs, and it'll be with still shots, not video. But who knows? I could be wrong. We're going to have to leave it there, Media Prince. He joins us each and every Tuesday right here on the Live Zone for what we call a little celebrity dish. All right, folks, yet again, it is now 13 minutes past the top of the hour. We are awaiting a White House press briefing. A lot going on in the world. Israel attacking Hamas inside Qatar. We expect the White House to chit-chat just about that and so much more. We'll be right back. This is the Live Zone. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. So did you hear? The Living Desert Zoo and Gardens, in partnership with the International Union for Conservation of Nature Species Survival Commission, earlier today announced the launch of the first ever U.S.-based Center for Species Survivor Behavior Change. Now, this initiative addresses a pressing gap in global conservation. Joining us to discuss this and so much more is Dr. James Danoff-Berg. He is the Vice President of Conservation at the Living Desert Zoo and Gardens. Good afternoon, sir, and welcome to the show.
Hello and welcome. Thank you for having me on. It's a great honor to get to share with you a little bit about our excitement with this.
Yeah, I got to tell you, this is a big deal. I saw this press release earlier, and I had to do a double take. So for folks that are really finding out about this for the first time, crawling from under a rock, no pun intended, do tell. What is this all about?
Well, you know, when we do conservation, we often think of the animals that are there, that we're trying to do the beneficial work for or on behalf of, right? The animals or the plants or the ecosystems. But really, when we're out there as conservation biologists, we're not really addressing the root cause of why species are declining. And species are declining not because they've forgotten how to breed or how to find mates or eat or anything, right? They're declining because of our actions. And so if we can change our actions, because we are the problem, we are the reason why species are declining, that means that we can also address the reasons immediately, the direct causes of those declines. So our center is going to train biologists on how to do that work, how to work with people, how to engage in behavior change. And it's just a super fascinating and really exciting opportunity for us to help improve the impact of conservation and make it beneficial not just for animals, but also for people who live in those regions where animals and ecosystems are thriving.
It's all about conservation practices, and I'm hoping, or reshaping conservation practices. I'm hoping you could share with us some of those practices that you hope to reshape.
Oh gosh, yes. There's so many ways. I mean, for us living in urban areas in North America, there's a lot we can do, right? A lot of what we work on is trying to change people's behavior so that we can become more sustainable and better at coexisting with wildlife. So learning how to make space for coyotes living near us, right? Coming into our parks, coming into our neighborhoods. Coyotes are a normal part of our ecosystems across much of the United States. Providing space for them to be able to do so, knowing how to manage our pets and our food for our pets, for example, is an important one. So a program that we might do, for example, with this center is work with people to learn how to better coexist with coyotes. And so that would be one small example of how we could do that, how to feed animals appropriately or not in our ecosystems. So the things that we would do would train conservationists to learn how to best learn from and partner with communities around the world, and especially in North America.
Yeah, I absolutely love that what you just posed, and that is coexisting with coyotes. Never in a million years that I think we'd ever be talking about that, let alone on this show. And so that's just really cool. And as they always say, the proof is in the pudding. And I know it's brand new, but what are folks saying about this? What's been the response thus far?
Well, the center itself is brand new, but our efforts at the Living Desert Zoo and Gardens in Palm Desert, Southern California, have been ongoing along these lines for about 7 years at this point. So we've had a number of great successes. We've helped reintroduce rhinos into parts of Zimbabwe. We've helped to improve the public perception and support of all women ranger programs in South Africa. We've helped to improve how people can coexist with snakes in Tanzania and Kenya. We work in Mongolia to encourage local nomadic herders to be able to live sustainably with the local wildlife with their own herds. So this is an ongoing effort that we have been doing ourselves at the Living Desert, and the opportunity to partner with this awesome organization, the International Union for Conservation of Nature, to create this center collaboratively with them and learn from the skills that their experts have, learn from the skills that our experts have, bring those two together to be able to support conservation efforts around the world. It's all going to lead to improved conservation and coexistence.
It's really a good thing. And staying in the realm of positivity, we know that this is actually happening. But what does it say that it took this long for this to be the first ever U.S.-based Center for Species Survivor Behavior Change?
Well, it's a unique thing in that it's this structure. Conservation has been aware of the need to be able to focus on people and bring people and communities into conservation for quite a long time. Well, maybe not quite a long time, over a decade anyway. And so we're aware that this is a thing that we need to do within the field of conservation. It's just that this setup, this structure, having this kind of support network, which is basically what we are. We're a support network for conservationists around the world. Different opportunities take a while to manifest, we'll just say, and we'll be diplomatic. So we're very happy that we have this opportunity now to be able to be this resource for conservationists in so many places.
Yeah, well, yet again, congratulations. Folks that want to find out more information, how would one go about to do so?
Oh gosh, you can come to our website, which is livingdesert.org. And you can also come to the International Union for Conservation of Nature World Conservation Congress in Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates, where we're going to have another launch, a formal international launch with our IUCN partners in October, middle of October.
This is just so cool, and I'm glad we got a chance to feature it and bring more awareness to something that is so important. Yet again, we have been speaking with Dr. James Danoff-Berg, the Vice President of Conservation at the Living Desert Zoo and Gardens. Truly appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate you.
You bet. All right, folks, we'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, welcome back right here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. Yet again, we are awaiting a White House press briefing that will get underway momentarily. Big news today out of Maryland, where Maryland Governor Wes Moore, you see him right there, formally launched his 2026 re-election campaign, pledging to continue building a state where we leave no one behind, as he addressed record economic and public safety gains since taking office. Let's take a look in.
School CEO has armed security, but the students do not while inside of the school. What is your feeling on that?
I mean, my feeling is that our number one priority is public safety and making sure that people are safe, no matter where they are. And that includes inside of our schools. I think that we have to make sure that if kids don't feel safe, they're not going to learn. So they have to feel safe in their environments, and I think it's important that local jurisdictions understand that public safety has to be a number one priority, so they have to be able to work through what is it that's going to make sure that our kids are safe inside of their classrooms and also safe in the communities that they call home.
Do you think city schools police should be armed inside of a school like they are when the CEO's there?
Well, I think MSDE, along with our local jurisdictions, have got to be the ones to make the decision about what is going to keep our kids safe and what is going to make sure that students are safe inside of their classrooms and in their neighborhoods. But I think that people have to understand that public safety has got to be the top priority, because if kids are not safe, then kids are not learning.
When you go into a school, do you have armed security with you?
Well, everywhere we go inside the state, we have to, we have what is constitutionally authorized. But that has, when I'm thinking about the public safety for all of our students and the public safety for all of our individuals, people feeling safe in their neighborhoods and their communities is our top priority. And I think we have to make sure that we're exercising all options to be able to ensure that that's the case.
All right, sorry, buddy, I've been talking in here. Can we talk to you about the big news today?
That's
You're
great.
Announcing your re-election. Why'd you do it softly in a video? And you know that it will not quell speculation that you have your eyes on the biggest office. Can you speak to those issues?
I am incredibly excited to go back in front of the people of Maryland because I think we've got an important story to tell. I think we've got a story to tell that shows that in just 2.5 years that we have jump-started Maryland's economy, that we have added over 100,000 new jobs, which is more in 2.5 years than my predecessor added in 8 years, that we've started over 30,000 new businesses in the state of Maryland since we've been the governor, that we have helped to break the back of violent crime, that scourge of violent crime that we were seeing before we came on board, that we made historic investments in public education. We're going to continue making historic investments in public education, and we've actually brought fiscal discipline. We've stopped the out-of-control spending that was taking place in the state of Maryland, where now we've gone 3 straight years of actually decreasing the size of the general fund. So I think the people of the state of Maryland know and see that our priority is here, our priority is them, that we are focusing on fighting for the people of the state of Maryland, and I'm excited to ask them for another term.
Governor, you said public safety is your #1 priority. Last week you announced sending state police to Baltimore. Your office said that's a very important move. I guess my question, if it's so important, why did you wait till now to do it? Why didn't you do it 2 years ago last year?
Well, we've been doing it throughout the process of the past 2.5 years. That's one of the benefits of actually having a relationship with our local jurisdictions, having a relationship with the mayor, having a relationship with local law enforcement, having a relationship with your state's attorney, being one of the only states in the country that actually helps to fund the U.S. attorney out of balance sheet. We have made the largest investments in local law enforcement in the history of the state of Maryland. And so I think that people see that we are taking an all-of-the-above approach, addressing public safety, and what that also means is being able to make decisions and being able to move quickly to make adjustments. The only way you can do that and do it effectively is if you're actually connected to the community, if you're spending time in the community, if you're actually working with local leaders and local jurisdictions and local community members, because that's how we're able to adapt and to know what resources are needed at what point.
Governor Moore, you say you wanted to bring fiscal discipline back to Annapolis, into the State House. When you talk to people around the state of Maryland, the biggest thing that they talk about is they say that you and Democrats in the State House have raised their taxes, and they point to the more than $1 billion tax and fee increases that went into effect this last year. So how do you really look at them and say that you are bringing fiscal discipline outside of the general fund when they also know that tax and fee increases have gone up under your leadership?
Well, I think the biggest thing that we continue to hear from people is a measure of appreciation that we have given the middle class a tax cut, that we have actually given veterans a tax cut. And at a time when you're watching the federal government, which is just given a tax cut to millionaires and billionaires, and in Maryland, the middle class just got a tax cut, I think middle class Marylanders appreciate the fact that we're working to bring affordability up inside of our state. It's the reason we focus on things like how are we dealing with electricity prices and energy prices and bringing them down in the state of Maryland. It's the reason we focus on things like prescription drug prices and bringing prescription drug prices down inside of the state of Maryland. And yes, it's why we've controlled the out-of-control spending that was taking place, where during the time before I was governor, Maryland budget increased by 70%. And now if you just look at the last budget, this was the largest cut to the Maryland state budget that we have seen in 16 years. And we were able to make those smart strategic cuts while also giving the middle class a tax cut, and yes, asking those who have done very well to invest a little bit more, so we could actually have the best public schools and have safe streets. And so I think people really appreciate the measure of fiscal discipline and the analytics and the data-driven analytics that we brought to this work, to know that we can both be fiscally disciplined and also make sure that the middle class is getting a tax cut and have a growing economy that can lead us through this effort.
And guys, real quick, we're just going to put another mic on the stick real quick.
Appreciate you guys. Sorry,
That's all right.
we're a little late to the party here, Governor.
That's all right.
Governor, what's your take on how the
Hey guys, let's just wait for a second.
Okay.
Thank you.
What's your take on how the field is shaping up? I mean, Steve Hershey announcing an exploratory committee, Ed Hale switching parties to get involved. Can you talk to us about the race here?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen there's a lot of Republicans that are looking to get in the race, and that's fine with me, whether it's Republican Ed Hale Republican Steve Hershey or Republican Larry Hogan or Republican Andy Harris or Republican John Myrick, or there's a lot of people who are making similar type of noise. I mean, the thing that I would say is that whoever it is, they should come ready, because we have a very real record to run on, and a record that we're very proud of. Knowing that there is still more work to do, but knowing that the work of progress in this state is very real. And also, we plan on having a very strong effort to be able to make our case to the people of this state. And the thing that we know is this, is that when we're watching the chaos from Washington, that the people of this state want to know that they have a fighter as governor. They want to know that they have a governor who is focused on things like being able to jumpstart our economy, to keep our streets safe, to focus on public education, to make sure that we are bringing fiscal discipline, when we're watching the absolute opposite from people in Washington. And so I think for anyone who's thinking about running in, I think that they better be prepared to defend their record.
All right, yet again, Maryland Governor Wes Moore discussing his formal relaunch of his campaign. We're going to take you now to the White House for the press briefing. Here's Caroline Levitt.
Today, President Trump will commemorate the 24th anniversary of 9/11 on Thursday with a visit to the Pentagon Memorial in the morning, followed by an appearance at the New York Yankees game at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx on Thursday evening. Next week, as you all know, the President and the First Lady will depart for their historic state visit to the United Kingdom on Tuesday, and they return to Washington on Thursday. Today, I would like to address the tragedy that has not received nearly enough media attention, the brutal murder of Irina Zarutska. Here are the facts that many outlets have shamefully and intentionally failed to report until President Trump drew attention to it. On August 22nd, Irina Zarutska was stabbed to death on the rail system in Charlotte, North Carolina, by a savage career criminal. This is a public transportation system that many in the area use every single day to go to school and work. Irina was on the train that night traveling home from her job at a pizzeria, still in uniform from her shift. This beautiful, innocent 23-year-old young woman was a Ukrainian refugee who had recently fled her country for a chance at a safer life and a promising new beginning here in the United States of America. But tragically, a public transportation system in a major American city was more dangerous than the active war zone that she left. The President and the entire White House are praying for her family and friends during this unimaginably difficult time. But while we extend our thoughts and prayers, we must also seek justice for this crime and call attention to this heinous incident. Surveillance video of the killing was finally released to the public this past Friday. It shows the alleged killer, DeCarlos Brown Jr., pull out a knife, get up from his seat behind Irina, and prepare to thrust a blade into her neck before the released footage gets cut. This is pure evil on full display. The most enraging and unacceptable part of this story is that her death was entirely preventable. DeCarlos Brown never should have been on that train that night. In fact, he should have been behind bars. DeCarlos Brown has been charged with crimes no fewer than 14 times, dating back to 2011, including for armed robbery, felony larceny, breaking and entering, and shoplifting. Brown had previously served 5 years in prison for a robbery with a deadly weapon charge, and he had also forfeited bonds 3 different times, twice in 2014 and once in 2023. Despite all of this past documented criminal history, when Brown was arrested yet again in January of this past year, a Democrat judge, who I will add was a strong supporter of former Vice President Kamala Harris, released this insane criminal once again without requiring him to pay any bail. He simply had to sign a written promise to return for his court hearing. Think about how crazy it is to ask a career criminal, someone who by definition repeatedly breaks the law, to just sign a written promise and come back again another day. This is madness. This monster should have been locked up, and Irina should still be alive. But Democrat politicians, liberal judges, and weak prosecutors would rather virtue signal than lock up criminals and protect their communities. And perhaps most shamefully of all, the majority of the media, many outlets in this room, decided that her murder was not worth reporting on originally because it does not fit a preferred narrative. Many of the journalists in this room spilled plenty of ink trying to smear Daniel Penny for defending a subway car from a deranged lunatic in New York City, but none of those same reporters lift a finger to write stories about an actual murderer. Here's the truth that every American must know. Too many innocent people across the country continue to pay the price of the failed experiment known as cashless bail that has been championed by the Democrat Party for years. All the way back in 2020, North Carolina's then Democrat Governor Roy Cooper established a so-called task force for racial equity in criminal justice. Sounds nice, but it's not. That task force was co-authored by then Attorney General and current Democrat Governor Josh Stein. It recommended, quote, reimagining public safety to, quote, promote diversion and other alternatives to arrest. It also advised to de-emphasize some felony crimes, prioritize, quote, restorative justice, and eliminate cash bail. Democrats in North Carolina and nationwide are consumed with pushing a woke, soft-on-crime agenda, no matter how many innocent Americans suffer as a result. Instead of aggressively prosecuting and locking up violent criminals, the Democrat-backed cashless bail approach lets these criminals roam free in our country to offend again and again. These reckless policies have turned too many of American cities into hunting grounds for career criminals who mock our justice system, drain law enforcement resources, and wreak havoc on law-abiding citizens. Enough is enough, and that is why President Trump is doing everything in his power by taking action to undo these absurd policies. The president recently signed a powerful executive order directing the AG to submit a list of states and local jurisdictions with cashless bail policies, so that the Trump administration may identify federal funds that are being provided to these states and can potentially be suspended or terminated. President Trump firmly believes that to maintain order in public safety, we must incarcerate individuals whose pending criminal charges or criminal history demonstrate a clear, ongoing risk to civil society. This is a common sense and sensible approach that the vast majority of Americans agree with, and it's time for the Democrat Party to get on board with what is right. When these criminals are caught, they must be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law and be sent to prison, where they can no longer terrorize our streets. This is the mandate the American people delivered to President Trump, and it's a mandate he intends to fulfill. Staying on the topic of public safety, new preliminary data released today by Customs and Border Protection in August shows that President Trump has delivered the most secure border in American history. For the fourth straight month, 0 illegal aliens were released into the United States by CBP. Nationwide encounters are down 93%, below the peak of the Biden administration. Border Patrol apprehensions on the southwest border in the entire month of August were less than what was apprehended in 4 days in August 2024 under the Biden administration. President Trump has ended disastrous Biden illegal alien invasion, and he sealed our border in record time, keeping this central promise he made to the American public. With that, I will take your questions. Here in our new media seat today, we have Michael Schellenberger, who is the founder of Public News with nearly 2 million readers and subscribers. Michael, thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
And why don't you kick us off? Sure.
Thank you for making space for new media. Nice to meet all of you. It's great to be here. I want to see if you could give some insight into whether the president is considering additional measures against Europe and Brazil, not just for censorship, but also for preventing political candidates from actually competing in elections. We've now seen in Romania, France, and now Germany with Joachim Paul, efforts to basically just prevent candidates from being able to compete in elections. The president has shown some concern around President Bolsonaro, who's being prevented from running. All of this is coming in the context of increased censorship of online platforms, of American platforms, and efforts to censor Americans. I'm personally being investigated under criminal investigation with my Brazilian colleagues for publishing the Twitter Files Brazil. We're very grateful that the president has imposed Magnitsky sanctions on the judge. Is the president considering additional actions, given that it appears that they're going to end up with a conviction against President Bolsonaro, preventing him from running? Is he considering doing anything about this crackdown in Europe? I mean, it's shocking to see Joachim Paul, this mayoral candidate in Germany, the criminal indictment against him cites him, quote, saying that he loves the Lord of the Rings as reason why he's an extremist and shouldn't be able to run. So I just wonder if you could speak to that. And again, I'm grateful to be here. Nice to meet you all. And I'm grateful for what the Trump administration has done to push for free speech abroad.
Well, thanks for being here, Michael. We appreciate it. Freedom of speech is arguably the most important issue of our time. It is enshrined in our Constitution, and the president believes in it strongly. He himself faced censorship in his road back to this beautiful Oval Office here in Washington, D.C., so he takes this very seriously, as does, I know, the Vice President of the United States and the entire Trump administration, which is why we have taken significant action with regards to Brazil in the form of both sanctions and also leveraging the use of tariffs to ensure that countries around the world are not punishing their citizens in this way. And at the same time, the president is, while he's leveraging the United States to safeguard our interests abroad, he's also making sure that freedom of speech remains here in the United States of America. So I don't have any additional actions to preview for you today, but I can tell you this is a priority for the administration, and the president is unafraid to use the economic might, the military might of the United States of America to protect free speech around the world.
Quick follow-up to that?
Sure.
Quick follow-up, which is just, there was a Reuters story saying that the Trump administration was looking at this Europe-U.S. trade deal as one of the sticking points, this issue of the censorship, not just of U.S. platforms, of Americans. Do you have any updates on how those trade talks are going? And I also wonder if the president is concerned about NATO membership. NATO membership requires that you be a democracy and you have free speech. Is it possible that some of these actions that we've seen in Romania, France, and Germany would disqualify those countries from being in NATO after this?
I have not heard the president discuss NATO membership in regards to this issue in particular, but I have heard him discuss the issue of free speech and the importance of free speech with foreign leaders around the world, including the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. When we were in Scotland, the president brought this up and how important it is for the Prime Minister to protect free speech in the UK and in various conversations with other world leaders. So he brings it up, and I think the entire world knows that this is a priority for the President of the United States. Gabe.
Thank you, Caroline. Regarding the Israeli strike in Doha, how much time or how much of a heads up did the U.S. get, and does the president support the strike?
Sure. Well, I have a statement to read for all of you with respect to the Israeli strike in Doha, and here it is. This morning, the Trump administration was notified by the United States military that as Israel was attacking Hamas, which very unfortunately was located in a section of Doha, the capital of Qatar. Unilaterally bombing inside Qatar, a sovereign nation and close ally of the United States that is working very hard and bravely taking risks with us to broker peace, does not advance Israel or America's goals. However, eliminating Hamas, who have profited off the misery of those living in Gaza, is a worthy goal. President Trump immediately directed Special Envoy Witkoff to inform the Qataris of the impending attack, which he did. The president views Qatar as a strong ally and friend of the United States and feels very badly about the location of this attack. President Trump wants all of the hostages in Gaza and the bodies of the dead released, and this war to end now. President Trump also spoke to Prime Minister Netanyahu after the attack. The Prime Minister told President Trump that he wants to make peace, and quickly. President Trump believes this unfortunate incident could serve as an opportunity for peace. The president also spoke to the Emir and Prime Minister of Qatar and thanked them for their support and friendship to our country. He assured them that such a thing will not happen again on their soil.
And to be clear, the president disagrees with the location of the strike, and that he passed that along to the Prime Minister Netanyahu.
The president just confirmed that in the statement that I just read to you, which I spoke with him about before coming out here. Jackie.
Thank you, Caroline. So is the president upset with Netanyahu now?
The president made his thoughts and concerns about this very clear, and he spoke again both to Prime Minister Netanyahu and also the Emir and the Prime Minister of Qatar after this attack. And the president has always made it very clear that he wants peace in the Middle East, just like he sought that and accomplished that in his first term. He expects all of our allies and friends in the region, that includes both Qatar and Israel, to seek peace as well. And he wants to see that happen, and he's working with all of our allies in the region to get that done.
Are there any consequences, so to speak, for Netanyahu doing this, as it sounds, against the president's wishes, or at least his belief that it was appropriate? Is there going to be any directive from the president to Netanyahu in terms of what's allowed in the future? And also, is there any concern this could jeopardize the Abraham Accords?
Look, that's a decision only the president can make. With respect to your first question, to answer your second question, as you heard from the president, he said he believes that this can serve as an opportunity for peace, and he's still actively and aggressively pursuing it with all of our allies and partners in the region. Jennifer?
Just to follow up on that, Caroline, are you able to say how often the president spoke to the Prime Minister of Israel before this? Because that's one question. And then what did he mean on Sunday when he posted, "I've given my last warning to Hamas," etc.? He wasn't talking about this strike on Doha?
No, he was not. As I told you, the Trump administration was notified by the United States military that Israel was attacking Hamas, and the president spoke to the prime minister after the attack, as well as, again, the emir and the prime minister of Qatar. And I know Secretary Rubio and Special Envoy Witkoff were present for that call with the Qataris as well. Reagan.
Thanks, Caroline. I have two questions for you on crime crackdown.
Sure.
Democrats have tried to argue that red states have higher crime rates while overlooking problems of high crime in blue cities. I'm wondering if the president would consider working with red state governors to fix high crime in blue cities like in Memphis, Tennessee.
So first of all, I want to get to the premise of your question, Reagan, which is being pushed by Democrats, that there is crime in red states. Of course, there is crime in all states, but the crime in these cities is all in cities that are run by Democrats. If you look at the list of the top 20 high crime cities in the United States, every single one, with the exception of one in Louisiana, is run by a Democrat. And these Democrats have supported the same policies that I spoke about at the beginning of this briefing, like cashless bail. If you look at a red state, Mississippi, but a Democrat-run city in that state, Jackson, in 2019, Jackson, Mississippi eliminated cash bail for virtually all misdemeanor cases. And while Jackson is not formally a sanctuary city, the state of Mississippi formally banned sanctuary cities, and this city has acted as a de facto sanctuary city for criminals and illegal aliens since 2017. Same thing, Birmingham, Alabama, a Democrat-run city in a red state. In 2017, the Birmingham City Council unanimously passed a resolution, quote, committing to establish sanctuary policies. So if you actually look at the facts from these Democrat-run cities, these are cities that are run by Democrats and by by members of the Democrat Party. These are blue cities, and they have all supported these disastrous policies which allow repeated career criminals back onto the streets to further commit acts of violence. And so to answer your question, yes, the president wants to work with anyone across this country who wants to end these horrible policies and to bring law and order to our streets. And I think that is proven by his tremendous cooperation with the mayor of Washington, D.C. and our nation's capital. And just look at the results of that. And I do have some updates for you on the D.C. crime crackdown if anyone is interested. There have been a total of 2,177 arrests made since the start of the operation on August 7th. Just last night, there were 57 arrests made in Washington, D.C. Of the 57 arrests, there were 14 illegal aliens who were arrested, many of whom had prior criminal histories. And other arrests just last night in our nation's capital, so you all can be very grateful for this. Our great men and women of law enforcement, both federal and local, working together as they should, made an arrest on a warrant for assault with the intent to kill. The subject shot 2 adult males after an altercation. They made an arrest on a warrant for an armed carjacking. The subject assaulted an adult male in the face with a firearm and then took his keys. We also made an arrest on a warrant for simple assault and the destruction of property and subsequently charged with second-degree theft. Last night in D.C., there was an arrest for possession of a controlled substance with second-degree theft. There was an arrest for possession of a controlled substance with the intent to distribute. That subject, the person is also a subject of interest in a homicide and a carjacking. Last night in D.C., we also arrested a felon in possession of a firearm who was carrying that firearm without a license. So these are the career criminals. These are the bad guys that we are picking up in Washington, D.C. every day. The president would love to do this in every Democrat-run city across the country, and he hopes that more Democrats will call the White House to allow us to help them.
One more that's D.C. specific. Congress is poised to not extend Trump's federalization of the D.C. police. Mayor Bowser signed an executive order formalizing cooperation with federal forces. You just mentioned all the success that the operation has had. Does the White House believe that the Mayor Bowser's action is enough to continue the crime crackdown?
We are very grateful for the mayor's cooperation in this effort, and we look forward to continuing to work with her and the Metropolitan Police Department. Bloomberg.
Thanks, Caroline. The president says, he plans to speak with Putin soon. Can we expect a phone call between the two leaders this week?
I don't have any phone calls to read out between you, the president, and any other foreign leaders. Ed.
Thanks, Carolyn. I want to ask about the benchmark revisions that came out. If you look at the revisions between March of 2024 and March of 2025, and you do a little math, it averages out to 73,000 jobs roughly per month added to the economy, less than what was thought. When can we expect the Trump administration, now that their policies are rolling out, for that increase, that average to increase?
Well, let me just say something about the revisions that came out this morning. And this was one of the biggest revisions in absolute terms in decades. In the benchmark year, March 2024 to 2025, shows that the job growth was vastly weaker during the Biden administration than ever previously reported. Between this revision and last year's, job growth was actually overstated by approximately 2 million jobs. And the Biden administration stood up here and vouched for that data and told you that data was real. And when President Trump calls into question the veracity of that data, like he did before he took the oath of office and even now as President of the United States, he was ridiculed for that. And turns out this revision proves two things. Number one, the president was right. And this is why we need new leadership at the Fed. And this makes it very clear that President Trump inherited a much worse economy by the Biden administration than ever reported. And it also proves that the Federal Reserve is holding our monetary policy far too restrictive. Interest rates are too high. The Fed needs to cut the rates because of the mess that we inherited from the Biden administration.
Time frame. The president has said a year. Secretary Bethesda said maybe the fourth quarter. When can we expect these numbers to increase?
Well, first, we need accurate numbers. We need truthful and honest data, which is why the president took the monumental step to try and appoint and confirm new leadership at the BLS so we can have data that we can actually rely on. And that's what the president is doing, and we hope that his nominee will soon be confirmed. Charlie.
You addressed the crime of Irina Zarutska, and the president has done a lot to deliver justice for victims of crimes like that horrific stabbing. And the Epstein files are back in the news because a lot of Americans feel that that Jeffrey Epstein's victims never got justice. Does the president care about these victims? Do you think he can does he want to deliver more justice for them, and is he willing to meet with them?
The president cares about victims of all crimes, and that's why Republicans in the Trump Department of Justice have done more in terms of transparency when it comes to the Epstein case than any prior administration. And why are the Democrats all of a sudden caring about this? It's because they are desperately trying to concoct a hoax to smear the President of the United States. We have seen this time and time again. Ro Khanna and all of these other Democrats, they could have cared about those victims 4 years ago. When Joe Biden was in office, they could have pushed for transparency then. Unfortunately, the Democrats are using victims as political pawns to try to smear and to push a hoax against the President of the United States. And I will get you numbers on the amount of child predators that this administration and this FBI and this Department of Justice have locked up under President Trump's leadership. We have done more than any president to protect victims of crime, especially disgusting, heinous sexual crimes. And that includes the deportation of illegal aliens who are perpetrating these crimes against innocent victims in our country right now today. And that remains a top priority for this administration.
Does the president, will he meet with the victims?
On the Doha strikes, did the president speak with Netanyahu before they were carried out? Did he urge him to not go through with it, or did they only speak afterwards?
Again, I read you a statement. The Trump administration was notified by the United States military that Israel was attacking Hamas. The president directed his special envoy Witkoff to immediately call the Qataris. And after the attack, he spoke to Prime Minister Netanyahu. Behind you.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
About the Epstein case, would the White House support a professional handwriting expert review of the document released yesterday to prove that it's not the president's signature?
Sure, we would support that. And in fact, I have already seen many forensic analysts of signatures coming out. I believe it was the Daily Signal that published a piece with 3 separate signature analysts who said that this absolutely was not the president's authentic signature. And we have maintained that position all along. The president did not write this letter. He did not sign this letter. And that's why the president's external legal team is aggressively pursuing litigation against the Wall Street Journal, and they will continue to. Christian.
Thanks, Caroline. Following up on Ed, now that we have these revised jobs numbers, is the president concerned at all that price spikes, stemming from his tariffs through the end of the year, might actually be driving the country towards a depression or a recession? What I'm asking is he committed to these
policies now that we know how faulty the jobs data was?
The president is committed to his policies because his policies are working, Christian. And there have been a lot of people fear-mongering about inflation in this room, but it just has not come to fruition. On a monthly basis, CPI inflation has now come in at or below the market's expectation for 6 consecutive months, every month that President Trump has been in office. Overall, inflation has run at a 1.9% average pace in the president's first 6 months in office. I would have told all of you that in January, you would not have believed me, but those are the facts and those are the numbers. And we also see many other positive signs in economic indicators like real GDP. In the second quarter, it was revised up to 3.3%. That beat the market's expectation. We know there's a capital spending boom right now, which we know is one of the greatest economic indicators of job growth. We know wages are increasing at a far faster pace than they were under the previous administration. We see productivity in the second quarter was also revised up to a strong 3.3%. In total industrial production, factory output also surged. All of this means the economy is moving, people are working, people are spending money. You look at consumer spending, that is also ticking up and in the right direction. And a large part, it's because of the incredible work the president has done in terms of energy and unlocking our energy dominance in this country. Again, these jobs, the numbers from the BLS today prove that the economy was an absolute mess, and we are working every single day to fix it, and all of those indicators I just read for you are positive sign of what is to come.
Just one more quickly on
sure,
trade.
Danny.
I just wanted to get a bit of clarity on the sequence of events for the Doha attack and the notification. You said that the U.S. military notified, if I got it right, the Trump administration was notified by the U.S. military.
That's right.
Was the U.S. military notified by the Israeli military, or did the U.S. military detect an incoming Israeli attack on Qatar?
The U.S. military notified the White House and the President of the United States. That's all I have to share for you on that, Danny.
Thank you.
Jeff.
Also following up, you said that the president assured the leaders in Qatar that this would never happen again. Did he say that to the Prime Minister of Israel, and did Prime Minister Netanyahu agree to that?
The president told that to the emir and the prime minister of Qatar, and the president also overstressed the importance of peace in the region in his conversation with Prime Minister Netanyahu as well. And Prime Minister Netanyahu told President Trump he wants peace and he wants it quickly. That's what the president expects to happen. The president is very clear in the statement that he just had me read, and you will all see it out on True Social very shortly, I am sure. The whole world will see it. He wants all of the hostages released out of Gaza, and he wants this war to end. Those are two clear directives that the president is making very clear for the entire world to understand. Mary.
But Qatar obviously has been helping to negotiate these ceasefire talks. Does the president think that Israel is undermining negotiations by striking Qatar? Is he concerned that Qatar's no longer going to want to play that intermediary role?
I think the president addressed that in the statement. I can read the whole thing for you again. I think it's very thorough because the president wanted to address all of your questions. We wrote, unilaterally bombing inside Qatar, a sovereign nation and close ally of the United States that is working very hard and bravely taking risks with us to broker peace, does not advance Israel or America's goals. However, eliminating Hamas, who have profited off the misery of those living in Gaza, is a worthy goal. So he answered that question himself.
You can't say that Israel...
All right, yet again, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt addressing all things surrounding international and domestic, if you will, right here in America. You can continue to stream the White House Press Briefing on our YouTube page. You see it right there, youtube.com/@Fox5DC. And don't forget to download the Fox Local app. On behalf of Emmy, I'm Guy Lambert. This is the Fox 5 Live Zone.